All right, well, I appreciate everybody coming tonight, first meeting here, getting things started, and welcome humans. I like that.
I'm alien, unfortunately, so that doesn't
What's
include
that?
me. I said I'm alien, so that doesn't include me.
Well, you can learn a little bit, yeah, it's all right.
Alien, human experience.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you go. Perfect, perfect. And it seems a little corny, but I think it's important to really identify ourselves and really know where we're starting from and know what we have to work with and to understand that we are human. Not only as it's not a limiter by any means, because we're capable of amazing things. But it's always good to identify who you are and where you're starting from. And that's a lot about what this group's about. It's what the Building a Sustainable Lifestyle is all about, is really identifying where you're starting, where you're coming from, if you're looking to make any changes, or if you just need some clarity in your life. Just looking at where you're at, where you're starting from, just gives you a good platform to build. But if you're thinking about change is difficult, and it's never easy. And again, if you start from the start, it makes it a lot easier. But that is really a challenge in itself, is getting started. So that's what we'll talk about today. It's just kind of some things and some checkpoints, I guess, I'm going to give you guys to just think about your health, think about where you're at mentally, spiritually, things like that. Just some guide points. As we go into this, I want you to keep a few things in mind, a few key words, I guess. One is dynamic, perspective, compassion. So we'll start out, you might be wondering, what is a sustainable lifestyle? What does that even mean? And to me, sustainable lifestyle is one that supports your entire holistic system. Mind, body, spirit, all together. Doing things every day that support all of those things. And I define the holistic system, again, as the entire being. It's the dynamic interplay between your mental, physical, spiritual, energetic systems. So it's a good diagram there, everything kind of flowing together. Sustainable lifestyle is also the one that's easy to maintain, that fits within the life that you're leading. But it's also adaptable. It's adaptable enough to allow you to grow, to give you room. As you change, you can easily change your lifestyle with you as you learn new things and discover new things about the world around you and about yourself. And that brings us back to that first word, dynamic. A good definition for dynamic is constant change, activity, and progress. And that pretty much encompasses not only your body, you're always changing, your body's changing all the time, depending on what you're doing, what you're feeding it, everything else, your mental state, it's always in flux. You're never static, this body system. And activity, there's always something going on. Like I said, there's always change, always something going on in the body. Healing, changing, cleaning, what have you. There's always something going on in your mind. Very few people talk about meditation as quieting the mind, but you always have something rolling through. And in progress. That's really kind of the thing we want to focus on a lot, is how do we progress ourselves? Mentally, physically, spiritually. How do we make the progress that speaks to us? Make those changes and live the lives that we would like to live, and that we're comfortable living. And that brings even more questions to start out with. The first one is you should ask yourself, why are you here? We talked a little bit about that when you guys got here, but really, what is it that you're looking for? What are the things that would benefit you the most? And what are the things that right now you're ready to receive? Because that's important too. That's very important. What are the things that fit into your life? And all that there. Who do you identify yourself as? How do you identify yourself? What are you looking to accomplish? When are you ready to start? You might not be ready to start right now. Maybe right now is just a discovery phase, and that's okay. Where do you begin, and why? Begin. Why? And that last one down there, how? How do you get started on this journey? How do you get started into thinking about a sustainable lifestyle or any lifestyle change? And it takes perspective. It takes a building of your perspective. I can only give you my perspective. And everything I present, anything that I talk to people about, I can only give my perspective of what I've learned from up to this point, and what I'm receiving from you, what we've shared in our time together. I can give you those perspectives together. But the one perspective that I'll never have, and really no provider will ever have, is your true perspective. How is my life going? What are all the factors that make up my life and my current lifestyle? Because we can ask all the questions we want, but we'll never have that true perspective of you. So, in my mind, all change is really self-directed. You make the decision to accept one thing as true, or accept something as useful, and all I can give you here is a chance to build that perspective and to look at your resources a little more critically and give you the tools to do so. And also important, as we get started, again, is compassion. There's something I start, when I think about doing sustainable lifestyle coaching, the first place we start is with something I call non-judgment. And for me, non-judgment, it doesn't necessarily mean judgment of people around you or the world around you or even how you feel about that. It's really how you feel about yourself. That non-judgment. So you can look at yourself and figure out where it is you're starting from and where you're at in your life, where you're at in your journey of health, healing, mental, physical, emotional, all of that, where you're at, and be able to say, it's okay for me to be here for now. For right now, this is where I'm at, and it's okay. Because once you do that, you're more able to open yourself up and really see things how they are. And that really is the only way that you're going to really start from where you're at, if you can, is if you can accept where you're at. But that takes that compassion, a little bit of self-love, to really say, it's okay. It's okay for me to be here right now. I'm looking to change maybe, or maybe you're not looking to change. Maybe you really like where you're at. And that's okay too. So from here we'll just talk about some basic checkpoints. Just thinking about the mental, physical, and spiritual energetic systems. So the physical system, just your basic nuts and bolts, your body mechanics, your hands, feet, knees and toes, all of that connected. So we're thinking about some basic checkpoints. What are some things you can do throughout the day, some things you can think about throughout the day to just check in, kind of see where you're at. And one key point is nutrition. There's a lot of things out there on nutrition, a lot of things that can be very extreme, can be very boxed in. You don't have to dive yourself into a program. Really, the best place for you best thing for you to do is just check in. say, what have I eaten today? And how did it make me feel? How did it affect me? Where is that? Where is what I'm eating today? Where is that on my health goals? On my list of accomplishments that I would like to move forward with. So, and again, it takes that compassion as well to say, it's all right, I ate that. It's okay. I'll get over it. It'll come out once I start doing a little better. So, and that's okay. But just to check throughout the day, if you're not feeling so well, if you're feeling a little bit down, if you're feeling a little lightheaded, you can think about, okay, well, what did I have for breakfast? And for gosh sake, when was the last time I ate something? Sometimes we get busy in our lives and we forget to eat. And it's important to really fuel the system so you can live the life that you want to live. Hydration. Hydration is equally as important as nutrition. You balance the two, and you really got to have both. And that's, clean, clear water, if possible. If it's something that you can handle, and some people really just, for some reason, balk at the taste and just the thought of just drinking straight water. But it's something you have to accustom yourself to. If you're not used to doing it, if you're not used to just drinking water, then you kind of have to make that change, and that's okay. But again, that hydration point, if you're not feeling right, again, sometimes if you're tired and you're feeling hungry, it's because you're thirsty. It's because you haven't had a real drink of water in half a day or so, And again, it's one of those things that you get busy, you're going crazy with your day, and you just forget to stop and take a minute, get up, get a drink of water. And I tell people that's probably about the best thing you can do for yourself is set your alarm for every 2 hours or so. Get up away from your desk if you sit at a desk, go to the water fountain, take a few steps, stretch out a little bit. And that brings us to movement. These three things together will give you the best platform you can have. Nutrition, hydration, and movement. And movement doesn't mean you gotta go run 2 miles. It just means you gotta get up, move your body, get your fluids going. That's really what movement means from the beginning. I tell people as a massage therapist, and I would tell people as a lifestyle coach as well, just get up from your desk, do a few things. Again, walk to the restroom or walk to the water cooler. Do simple things. Make circles with your arms. Cross crawl type stuff. You might get a few looks in the office, but that's okay, because you're taking care of yourself and you're taking that time. You checked in. You said, what did I do today for movement? Where am I at? And it doesn't hurt, if you need to set alarms throughout the day, maybe at noon or at 11 o'clock, say, okay, what have I done today? That kind of thing. So whatever helps you throughout the day, just to get you reminded to check back in with yourself. Because we do tend to get away from ourselves. Even with our we're going to talk about mental processes and spiritual processes, and you really still want to really stay rooted in your body. Because we're human. This is the experience we're having. No matter if you're alien or no matter how many lives you've had, no matter how many past lives, this is the experience we're having. And we really ought to stay rooted in our bodies. So we want to be able to check in, say, how you doing? What can I do for you? How can I support you? And if you support this body, they'll do amazing things for you. That brings us to our mental system. And the first part of the mental system, the first check, is knowledge. Gaining knowledge is one of the best things you can do for yourself, is to be informed. Be informed. If you're looking at anything, looking at especially making changes in your lifestyle or in your eating habits, if you're looking at a resource, you want to research that resource, see where they got their information from, everything like that. And also, look at things that speak to your journey, and speak to where you're headed, where you want to go. And that's part of the next one is reason. You think about what are the reasons that I'm wanting to make these changes. But also, you can use reason to see how that knowledge that you're getting, how that's actually going to fit into your life. The reason part is pretty important. It's just as important, almost more important than the knowledge, because the knowledge will come. It's available. You just have to reach out to it. The reason is blending that knowledge with your current state, with your current life, your current ability. And something I didn't mention that I mentioned a lot about the mental system is that it's the resource center. I feel for your body and even for your spiritual side, because this is where you hold that knowledge, and this is where you can figure out how it's going to fit you, how it's going to work for you, and it's the resource center both for finding nutrients for your body and supporting all those things we talked about, the nutrition, hydration, and movement, but also for the spiritual system. It has that piece where you have these things that you're passionate about, and things that really speak to you, and things that you would love to do and that love to accomplish, and that just make you feel like you. And that knowledge piece gives you the chance to say, all right, well, how can I accomplish those things? And where do I start with that? Because that's another thing we'll talk about in some later talks. But right now we're kind of focusing on these checkpoints. So knowledge and reason, figuring out what's available and how it fits for you. And then intuition. Intuition, to me, is where you've gone through the knowledge, you've gone through the reason, you've started trying to implement some of these things, and that intuition is, how's things going? Really, how are things going? Sometimes we're charging ahead, we're feeling great, and then we look around and things aren't quite as stable as we thought. Whether it's with our family, or regular social lives, or just within ourselves. Sometimes, again, we get a little far away. We get a little ahead of ourselves. And that intuition piece lets us know, puts those feelers out there, says, okay, where am I at really? Where do I need to be? And do I need to rein it in just a little bit? Or do I need to open up a little bit more? Is there more available to me than I'm accessing? That's that intuition piece. Then we're on to that spiritual energetic system. And again, this is where, your urges beyond primal come from, to me. Those things that really drive you. Those things that feel like when you do those things, you feel like you. You feel like a whole person. That's that spiritual energetic system. And with that, that's where that compassion comes in. Where you can have that compassion for yourself to say, it's all right that I'm here. It's all right that I'm doing what I'm doing right now. And it's all right to want to change. Sometimes we feel a little bit bad about wanting to make a change. We feel like we're going to leave people behind, or that people will feel a certain way or another. But you'll find if you do those checkpoints, you kind of start slowly and you really make those comfortable changes. Again, using your mental system, that knowledge, that reason, that intuition to really kind of get an idea of where things are at beyond yourself. Then those changes won't seem so drastic. And sometimes people are waiting for you to change. And it's hard to see that, but to have that compassion with yourself is very important. And presence. Presence, through meditation, through just basic awareness. And that's really kind of what we're developing here. And that's why this whole system is a dynamic system. that holistic system, mind, body, and spirit, because it all functions together if you want it to function completely. So that presence really comes, I believe, excuse me, from that spiritual system, that presence of mind, presence of spirit, because if you're here, if you're within this body, and allowing yourself to think the thoughts that you think, then there's really not a lot that you can't accomplish, given time. So that presence is important. And then service. Service is another key point. How can you serve yourself? Like we talked about, the journey really starts with you. What are the things that you can do to support yourself? But also, how can we serve each other? What are the skills and the things that we can offer to our neighbors, to our family, to our community? However far you feel like you're able to reach. Because your voice matters. What you have to offer, maybe somebody else is looking for. And maybe if you make that connection with that person, they'll have something to offer in return that you would have never imagined that you would receive. So it's those interpersonal connections that really build that collective consciousness, if you'd like to call it that, and just that presence and that connection with the world around you. And that's very important for your spiritual side. There's a lot of different things, there's a lot of ways that spirit has been looked at, a lot of different traditions and cultures, and again, we'll talk a lot more about the spiritual system as we go along. But those are just kind of some of the checkpoints. And that service piece is important because we're all in this together. We're all here together. Sometimes we feel a little lonely. Sometimes we feel like it's us against the world. But in the end, we're all in this together. If you reach out, someone will reach out to you. But it takes time. It takes a little compassion for yourself, a little compassion for your loved ones. It takes time. Healing takes time. And like I said, today's pretty simple. Just some checkpoints, and I thank you for coming today. And but I think it's really important to be able to start from the start. And that's really what the message is for this today. Is start from where you're at. And be able to sit down and really look at yourself and be okay in that moment. And then you can take inventory, use that knowledge base, because the knowledge base is also knowledge of yourself and knowledge of the skills that you have and knowledge of the things that you would like to address. So it all fits. It all fits both outside of yourself, but especially inside, and that's where you start. So, thank you for coming today, and I hope it's been helpful. Anybody have any questions? No?
I was kind of wondering, how is this group going to look? I mean, what's the goal?
Yeah, well, the goal of the group is basically it's kind of put forward some of these things about how you can support yourself, but also to connect with some resources we have in the area. And that's going to be the second meeting of every month. The second meeting of every month will be a speaker from somewhere in the public. Like the 20th, I think her name is Lynn Hughes from the Leopold Center for Sustainability at Iowa State. She's going to come talk to us about the local food network, about what's available for CSAs, for locally grown foods, how you can get access to those things. So, and that's pretty important. That's where that's that nutrition piece. And I feel like you have all these paleo diets, you have all these different diets. If you eat locally, you haven't made. If you eat fresh local food that's grown well, and animals that are treated well, and crops that are raised well, then that's about as far as you need to look, as far as I'm concerned. Thank you.
So then the Tuesday group is gonna be, so the Thursday's presentations and stuff?
The second, I'm sorry, did I say Thursday?
No, I think I did.
Maybe
Second
assume
meeting,
Thursday,
yeah.
yeah. No, the second meeting of the month, so it's gonna be the first Tuesday and the third Tuesday. So on the third Tuesday will be the speaker.
Okay.
The first Tuesday will be a little more about the sustainable lifestyle model, things like that. So in the next segment of this talk, we'll get a little more in depth about how the mind and the body fit together, and really how that interrelationship that I was kind of talking about. Talk a little bit more about those aspects, delve a little bit more into those checkpoints, and just kind of build that base model for you to really find the resources that fit for you, and to discover whether or not those resources that you're finding do fit. So that's very important. And so, yeah. Any other questions? No? Okay. Again, thank you very much for coming out. I really appreciate you guys being here, and hope it helps.
Any more questions?
Yeah, oh, for sure. I'm always open to questions.
I ride a bike, and I have a ride
Okay.
on Tuesdays, so probably for the summer, I can't see myself coming often. Is it something that you could jump into later, or is it something
Oh, of
you want
course.
to start? Okay.
Of course. And actually, I recorded this one today. I'm going to see how it goes, and I may be post these on YouTube
Mhm.
for a time. So
Mhm.
we'll kind of see how that goes.
Right.
If the recording doesn't work out, I might just go ahead and redo the lecture and record it as well. But I'll also record the other lectures and the informational pieces as well. So but I know everybody's busy. It's a technological age, so.
Tuesdays are hard for me too.
Oh, really?
It just
Oh.
happened to be, this wasn't a free one, but.
Well, good. I'm glad you're able to
Yeah,
come.
when I can, but I have a lot of regular clients on Tuesdays.
I know. See, that's what I don't.
Evenings.
I don't have a lot of regular clients right now on Tuesdays, so that's what I blocking out the time, and just gonna see how it works. And I think if I don't get anybody to show up, I may adjust my schedule. Yeah. So, but I appreciate you guys' input. Absolutely. Is there anything that you guys would like to see as far as community speakers about any topics, or I know I'm focusing a little bit on local foods, and I think in June it might be somebody talking about urban gardening, about urban agriculture. So focus a little bit on in the growing seasons on people that are
I
doing
know some
growing.
chicken people.
Some chicken people.
I know chicken people.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if they fit in with another talk, or I guess if they can come talk about chickens for half an hour, I'm supposed to
I'm
be
sure
good.
they can talk
I'm
about chickens for half hour. Pretty sure they can.
They probably could pull it off. Huh? Sounds good. Sounds good. I'll keep that in mind.
I bought some chicks, and then
Did
somebody
you?
raises them, and then you have the option to go help with the whole process, so you know where your food's coming from and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a little
Told me
freaked out about
about
that.
After
Farming.
she bought me and put my name
I
on
said I
it.
do it.
Nice. Nice. And I know there's
I do.
there's farmers that allow you to buy a cow, but not only for meat, but also for milk.
Oh,
So you buy the cow, and
Spike.
all they do is provide the milking service,
yeah,
and that way they can give you raw milk.
right.
That's how people kind of get around the regulations and
Oh,
stuff.
because it's their cow.
Yeah, exactly. It's your
So
cow.
they're not
You're
selling
only
the milk,
right.
they're
You're
selling
only
the cow.
paying.
That's
You're only paying the person for the milking service.
Right.
So you're getting milk from your cow, and you're paying them for the milking
Yes.
service. So
Huh.
I haven't done that yet, but I know there's people that do that.
Mhm.
So,
That's a good idea.
yeah. So if you're looking for raw milk, unpasteurized,
Right.
and there's different concerns and
Right.
different things about pasteurization, both ways.
Right.
So there's a lot of different things out there, but that's available. So there's a lot of things available. So and that's where I'm not sure exactly what Lynn's gonna be talking about, but hopefully she'll hit on some of those points, some of the things that are available in the area, how you can access the local food system, so if you guys can maybe make it to that, maybe it's. Like I said, at least I'll try to get things recorded and have those available for a time.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thanks for coming out, appreciate it.